Hey, it's Nikki.
And it's Bri.
And we're Late to the Party, a weekly podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture moments that shaped us into the weirdos that we are. And today we are yapping about the hours.
That's right. For an hour.
For an hour. An hour on the hours.
That's right.
Yes. I feel like we're like in a Siskel and Ebert segment, you know?
Ooh, yeah. I love Siskel and Ebert.
So thumbs up or thumbs down on the hours? Let's just cut to the chase.
Thumbs up. Duh.
2 thumbs up for me.
2 thumbs, yes.
2 resounding thumbs up, which is crazy because, as I was explaining to someone earlier, The Hours is a film that, you know, it was nominated for what, like 9 Oscars? And
a lot of, yeah.
It's just like a traditional Oscar film. Like, if it wasn't nominated for Oscars, it would be like an Oscar bait film. You know, it's like a very Weinstein era production with all this, you know, baggage or like lore behind it. And it's like a period piece of sorts. I love
But it's modern day as well.
Totally. It's parallel lives based on, you know, Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway.
I love this.
I fucking love The Hours. But it's a movie that I wouldn't check out.
If we didn't have this podcast, I mean, maybe eventually I would somehow if it came into my feed and I'm like, oh yeah, these 3 actors, you know, I love them.
Well, the queens, like this film stars Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. You can't go, I mean, star-studded, so.
Truly.
Yeah. Nicole Kidman's nose.
The nose.
Ed Harris,
another one of my queens.
Yeah.
Going full Angels in America in this, by the way. Like, we're going to have to get into it because there's so much to unpack about The Hours. And I'm like, I'm so glad we can yap about it and that I have you because
no one else will talk to you about The Hours.
No one else will talk to me about The Hours.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you so much. But yeah, the first time I saw The Hours was we do this series. And I hope we still continue.
I hope so.
But we do a series every year during Oscar season, which, you know, we love to say like the Academy Awards are like our Super Bowl. But we always do like 1 year specifically. And we did the 2002, which was in 2003 Oscars. And we watched The Hours. Like we watched all the best pictures.
That was the same year as Shrek, right? Or no, that's 2001.
That was the year after. Yeah. But still great years. We did that one as well.
Because we did them like really close together.
That was so true. Remember, I felt like that first year of Late to the Party was like 3 years because we were like, we're going to do every Oscar 2001, 2002. Let's go.
Oh my God. It was so much fun though, getting into it.
Same. And it really like forced me out of my comfort zone as far as films. Like The Hours or like a Shakespeare in Love even.
Yeah. It is a fun way to like experience movies. Like look back to like a previous Academy Award year and just watch all the films. And
all the context. It really does like force me to like kick my like ADHD brain rot, my TikTok brain and actually like watch films.
Yeah.
So, but what's your relationship with The Hours?
Well, pretty much the same when we, you know, did that episode on the Academy Awards. And I loved it immediately. It was like life-changing in a way. I was just like, whoa, like this movie's so good. Like, I love the way the story's told, how it's like there's 3 different timelines that are all connected somehow. And like just the parallels of like these women's like it's like a daily day-to-day. Well, it really takes place in one day, I think.
Yeah, technically,
if you think, which is crazy.
A crazy day for 3 of these women.
Very crazy day.
The craziest of days.
I forget that it's just the one day. Like, because on the rewatch, I'm like, oh, you know, it's been a while, so I'm thinking like, oh, maybe this was like a few days or a week, but no, this all takes place in one day.
The hours
in
a day.
Yeah,
I always say that's crazy too. On this rewatch, I didn't even clock that it was just a day.
Yeah,
it does feel like a lifetime. It is a lifetime of suffering,
but it like all blends together in a way because the score makes it all like kind of dreamy.
Can we talk about the Phillip Glass score?
It is so good. I still have that
Okay.
music in my head. The
That is my whole entire life. I want my whole life scored by Phillip Glass.
yeah.
I'd be anxious all the time, but that's okay.
I know you're like waiting for something really bad to happen.
The shoe to drop.
Oh.
But I was reading reviews from this time, and it's a really divisive score.
Really? What were they saying? Like,
some people think that it's a lot of critics, especially during the time, were really divided about it, with some being like, oh, the Phillip Glass score really takes away from the film, and it's like it's too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I feel like it could maybe be a little bit less, but I still think it needs to be there because it's so good.
It really, I think it elevates it,
Yeah.
because all three of these women, well, first back it up for a second.
Yeah, we were going to do the synopsis.
gonna do a
We're
synopsis.
just coming in hot. That's okay.
It's okay because I have a lot to say. Put a pin in that Phillip Glass score. But so The Hours is a 2002 psychological drama film directed by Stephen Daldry and starring Nicole Kidman, Julianne Moore, and Meryl Streep. Three lives are connected by Virginia Woolf's 1925 novel, Mrs. Dalloway. In 2001, Clarissa Vaughn, Streep, a New Yorker, prepares an award party for her AIDS-stricken longtime friend and poet, Richard, played by Ed Harris. In 1951, Laura Brown is a pregnant California housewife with a young son, currently in an unhappy marriage. In 1920s England, Wolff, played by Kidman, battles with depression while struggling to finish the work. But that Phillip Glass
back to
score.
Phillip Glass. Actually, I do have thoughts. So
Yeah.
maybe you're right, though. Like, it does add, and I think it's maybe because like that score is on top of all of these three women's lives, so it just helps keep it connected. You know, like the lines are a little blurred.
I think that it really helps with that. I also think in these three women's lives, this moment in their lives is a real breaking point for them, or like a tipping point. And it's like a ticking time bomb. Like the hours and hours that go on, I think the score really just builds and builds and builds.
Yeah.
Like this score is so over the top for a reason, because it is like the way I interpret the score, at least, is, you know, especially with Virginia Woolf and Julianne Moore's character, but even with Clarissa, Streep's character, they have such like crazy emotions, like very heightened emotions during this time.
Yeah.
And I think that score really serves their, like, I don't know how to word this. I'm like, it's
Like they're unraveling.
yeah, or they're reaching this like tipping point. They're reaching their breaking point.
Yeah.
So
and the music is like getting louder.
it's like their inner monologue.
I was gonna say the music makes me think of like your inner thoughts. You know how they just keep like spinning and getting louder, and
That's it.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like the score too?
I love the score. I'm trying to think too. There's something else Phillip Glass. What did he do? Oh, he did the Truman Show.
Another banger with
Yeah.
Ed Harris in a fabulous beret.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Harris in hats. He can wear a hat.
He can.
Yeah, and this one he has like a very like South Park style hat.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris. But yes. So The Hours. That opening scene. So the film begins with Virginia Woolf, played by Nicole Kidman,
Oh yeah.
in like a English countryside by
Very
like
cottagecore.
yes, super cottagecore.
Living the dream, in my opinion. In a way, like when I imagine cottagecore, that's what I picture.
Yeah. You know what it makes me like? This is my first note I wrote about The Hours on this rewatch. I was like, did Taylor Swift, when she was writing like Folklore Evermore, did she like think she was Virginia Woolf? Like, did she have this like fantasy?
Probably. I could see it just a bit. Yeah.
Just wearing like a prosthetic nose, just
And that like old timey kind of dress.
totally a quill,
Uh-huh.
just or like a felt, whatever those pens are called.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Is it a fountain pen?
Yes, a fountain pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm being a little like I wonder if that was like ageist during the time. Like, you know, I don't know. Like, is that like calling someone chuggy back in the 20s to be like, you got your quill?
Are you writing with your quill?
You old. But yeah, the movie begins with her stuffing all the rocks in her pocket.
Oh, yeah.
When she drowns herself.
It begins at the end, if you think about it.
I love movies that begin at the end.
Same.
What is it about that storytelling device that just hits?
I don't know. It's like, well, because it's unexpected maybe. And then it's like, oh, this is how we got here. I'm going to show you. Because you're like, what? You're kind of like confused and also like, whoa. Like you kind of, like if you know anything about Virginia Woolf, which I didn't really know much, to be honest, before this movie. But I'm not like an expert on Virginia Woolf, but I know, you know, that it was like a thing that she did. Like she committed suicide or whatever with rocks in the which what a way to go. I don't know. I couldn't.
I don't think drowning is my mode.
Yeah, that just seems like torturous. I don't know. Slow and torturous, but
total. But that was kind of her MO.
She's a poet, so I guess.
Yeah.
That's just a poet thing.
Feeling things deeply.
Yeah.
But it's not funny that she's just like grabbing like every boulder, but it is like with the Phillip Glass score, I can see how under the right light you might have a nice chuckle.
Yeah.
But but it definitely is not funny.
It's definitely not. No, it kind of sets the tone. Mm-hmm. Like it's going to be a little somber of a movie.
Yeah, it really does. It's like, you know, what's up.
You know what though? Back to the score. I think without that score, it would be a lot more like sad and depressing.
Yeah.
You know?
It really does aid to the pace of the film.
It does. It's like a 2-hour movie, I think. But it doesn't feel like 2 hours.
It doesn't. You know, I forgot how breezy the hours goes by.
That's because the day goes by so
it's true. But I think it is the score as well. There's never a dull moment. There was never a time when I was like, oh, this is dragging on. You know, I feel like some of these films, that's why I like to watch a lot of Oscar films in the movie theater because, you know, I get all antsy and I'm like, I got to do this. You know, when you're at
home, you get distracted. Yeah.
In the hours, I just like glued
Zone in.
Didn't look at my phone once.
You know what? I don't think I did either. Except maybe to take a note because...
Is that like a litmus test for a great film? It's like if you don't look at your phone at home.
Definitely.
Like never at the movies. That's blasphemous.
No phones at the movies.
No. I stand by that.
Phone at the movie? No phone
at
the movies?
Yeah, no phone at the movies.
It's very rude. Unless you have something going on where you really need to check it. But then you just put the brightness all the way down. You do this. And you lean back. You know what I mean? Or excuse yourself.
Check it from the bag.
Yeah.
Check it from your handbag.
Definitely. Don't blind people with your light.
No.
And don't leave the sound on.
No.
Don't answer a phone call.
No. I mean, I say don't even look at your phone.
Don't even look. I mean, honestly.
But we're recording back-to-back episodes. I do have a story. I did see Folie à Deux. You know, the new Joker.
Yeah.
I did look at my phone. I was so bored out of my mind. And that was the only movie.
That's the test.
That was the only movie where I was like, I'm giving myself permission to look at my phone right now.
Uh-huh.
Because.
And you said there's only 2 other people in the theater, right?
Yeah.
So I think that also factors in. If you're in an empty theater, it's okay. I think those are the rules.
Yeah.
If people are spaced out, there's no one behind you or, you know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Theater etiquette is very important. Even today.
Yeah.
No recording TikToks. However, if they did a re-release and someone was just recording it to make a TikTok, I don't know, kind of funny.
Yeah. What like do people do that then? Like TikToks at the movies?
I saw it for Barbie a lot.
Oh. Yeah, but just the beginning, right? Or like a clip, like they're not like doing the whole movie.
I hope we're getting better as a society, but yeah, a year ago or 2 years ago, when I went to the movie theaters, I would see people just on TikTok.
Oh wait, just scrolling?
Just scrolling.
Oh my God. That's terrible. You can't even watch the movie. You got to be on TikTok.
I know. That infuriated me. I'm like, the movie theater's a sacred space.
Yeah, that's blasphemous.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the hours. Yeah, I guess back to wrap it all up with like the movie theater discussion. This movie did come out on Christmas Day, 2002, in limited release.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on a Christmas Day movie? Let alone a Christmas Day Oscar play.
I love this. I've just in the, most recent years have I, like as a kid, we didn't really go to the movies on Christmas Day, but I know for you it was a tradition.
Yeah.
I think, and now I've adopted that tradition. It's a great tradition. I think, especially with an Oscar kind of, would it be Oscar bait? Because what would you say? What would you call it
if you get nominated for an Oscar, it's not Oscar bait. I would say Oscar bait has very bad connotations.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's films. I don't want to
like
name
Oscar
names.
bait, like Folie à Deux is Oscar bait, but it's not Oscar worthy. Or is it even Oscar bait?
I don't know if Todd Phillips was Oscar baiting us. I don't know about that, but you know it when you see it. Like, yeah. I don't know if I need to explain Oscar bait. You just know it when you see it. You feel it. But if you get nominated for Oscar, like Academy Awards, let alone win, you're not Oscar bait. You're just an Oscar play. You're in the race. You're not like dangling. You're not like tripping up the Academy, like trying to like get in, you know?
You've got it.
Which The Hours, it was an Oscar play. It was that year for Miramax that was like the big year or one of the big years. It was like 98, 99.
Miramax had some big years for sure.
03, 02 films, but for the 03 Oscars, I would say the biggest year for Miramax, or one of them at least. Like Harvey Weinstein campaigned so ruthlessly and so hard and was such a crazy person, such an evil dictator the only thing that saved The Hours was, and I know we said this,
the nose. No.
Back in our other episode, so check that out. But him and Scott Rudin, who produced The Hours, they were butting heads and didn't like each other. Scott Rudin's also a monster. So, but that kind of boded well for The Hours not to be too involved with Harvey Weinstein.
I think so. Well, I know because a lot of people make fun of the Nicole Kidman's prosthetic nose. I know Harvey Weinstein was not about that nose. He wanted it to go.
Yep.
He was upset. He's like, I paid like $1 million or something for this actress. You can't even recognize her. The nose has got to go. And I think he was like sending someone to the studio. I forget what they were going to do, like to disrupt it and be like, no nose.
Yeah.
And Scott Rudin had security or something like blocking them. So like, I know he fought for that nose.
Which, yes.
I really enjoy that nose too, by the way. Can we just talk about, I know it's like, I feel like it's like an elephant in the room.
Can we talk about the nose?
Yeah.
So Nicole Kidman wears this prosthetic nose to like transform herself into Virginia Woolf. And it's Anne Roth, the costume designer, who really is like, I have this prosthetic nose.
Yes.
And I think that's so cool and such like a testament to Anne Roth's genius. Like, I'm familiar with Anne Roth's work because of all her work with Meryl Streep throughout the years in a lot of like the Mike Nichols films.
Oh, okay.
We just talked about her recently, didn't we?
I know she was in the Barbie. She did Barbie.
Yeah, she made a cameo in Barbie at like 91.
That's amazing.
But we were just talking about Anne Roth. I don't remember why, but she did a lot of Meryl Streep and Mike Nichols stuff. But that nose transforms her into Virginia Woolf.
I think it's an asset for sure. Like, I think it might be like distracting to see Nicole Kidman up there and all her beauty. You know what I mean?
I think so. I also think the lore behind the nose. Like, I remember being a little kid and hearing like through the grapevine about The Hours.
Oh, really?
And nothing about The Hours except that it was nominated for a lot of Oscars and the nose.
Right.
And it's an interesting thing looking back on it that Harvey Weinstein would be so against it, because I get it. Because the year before was like Nicole Kidman's breakout year in a sense, because that's the year she divorces Tom Cruise. And she has, the banger films of like The Others does really well and Moulin Rouge, and she gets nominated for the Academy Award then and loses. But this is like her year.
Mm-hmm. It's all building up.
It is all building up. And it's crazy to think that I don't think she would have won Best Actress if it wasn't for The Nose.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on The Nose?
I love The Nose. I think, like, to me, I'm like, yeah, that's Virginia Woolf. Like, I don't know if The Nose also maybe changes like how her eyes look, but I feel like it does. Like, I don't know. It's like it changes her entire face, but her expressions are like, they really come through. It's like she's a whole nother person. She becomes another person.
Yeah.
The disguisey way.
She really does.
It works. No, but really, like, I think also if you're an actor, like, and you have like a prosthetic, it might help you transform into a character. You know what I mean? Someone who's not you, like, get outside of yourself. I would think.
I think so. And it really sets up the trajectory of Nicole Kidman's career. Not to give it all to The Nose.
To be a more serious actor
or to be an actor that transforms, like a very serious, committed actor.
Like a chameleon.
Yeah. Because even today, that's the thing you hear about Nicole Kidman, is that she's like super serious about her craft and it's like all in and goes very deep with, you know, her characters and in her character work. And I don't think without The Hours, but also The Nose, would we as an audience be like, oh yeah, she doesn't care about vanity like that. Because, you know, the year before it's like Satine.
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge, super glamorous, you know.
Yeah. But Virginia Woolf isn't glamorous. You know,
Not
you got to
at
go
all.
with whatever you're playing, right? Whatever
Yeah.
the movie needs you to be.
And I think that's what the prosthetic nose sets up. I mean, Nicole Kidman, but also The Nose.
Yeah. Thanks, Anne Raw.
Yeah. No, because it does set up like, oh, she's serious and she's not just here to look pretty.
Yeah.
Like, she's a character actor too.
I dig it. I feel like even Julianne Moore, like, they, you know, she's beautiful, but they kind of like do the same, like a little bit, like she doesn't look ugly, but they make her just very, very demure and understated. And then that age makeup, when like they fast forward,
That
like,
age makeup's so good.
it is very good. I had to do like a couple of I'm like, wait, is this CGI? I'm like, what is this? Like, did they like just spend time making all those wrinkles? Because those wrinkles look so real, like the chin wrinkles.
You know, they had another actress originally set to play
Oh yeah,
the older version of Julianne Moore's character.
I forgot about that, but no,
Yeah. I also think, to fast forward to that reveal of Julianne Moore at the end in the old age makeup, the moment you recognize it is Julianne Moore and it's that character, everything clicks.
yeah,
So I think that was such a good choice to have it still be her.
same.
Because with all the timelines, you might have to like look for it a little more in the dialogue to realize that the kids actually Ed Harris and his mom is Julie. Like,
yeah, it takes a while
yeah.
to. I like that the story takes its time in that way, where it's not all revealed at once, and there's like little hints. Like, yeah, like when Ed Harris is looking at the photograph, and it's like, you know, Julianne Moore's character. Why can't I remember her name, by the way? I'm
is
like,
it Mary? No.
Is it?
Wait. It is Laura Brown.
Oh, Laura. Okay. I don't know. I feel like it's so plain. It's not Virginia. It's not Clarissa.
Yeah,
It's Laura.
Laura Brown.
Yeah.
Laura Brown. Didn't Laura Brown, isn't she like a journalist? Didn't she work for like Harper's Bazaar
Oh, did she?
or Vogue? Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Laura
her
Brown,
name.
where you at? A blonde lady with a cute nose.
Just shout her out.
Yeah. Don't know where I don't know anything about her. I'm just like, I know. But anyways, Julianne Moore or Laura Brown storyline is my favorite storyline
Yeah.
in the whole entire film.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one that resonates with me the most. But what storyline resonates with you?
I feel like maybe Virginia Woolf a little.
How so?
I don't know. Just
Depressed all the time?
being a tortured artist, but not as depressed as her, you know, but just the, you know, like when you're, mostly like when she's working or whatever, when you're really into something and she's like, oh yeah, I'll eat in a minute. I'll do that in a minute. But you know, when you get so absorbed into something and you're just like in it.
like fixated on it.
Yeah, when your creative juices are really flowing.
And see, I really like Laura Brown in the 1950s. I relate the most to that one in an interesting way. But yeah, I resonate with the Laura Brown storyline because the whole thing with her is it's her husband's birthday, played by John C. Reilly.
We need to unpack this.
He had a great 2002.
John C. Reilly.
He did. He was in Chicago as well.
That's right. It's so funny seeing him with like the curly hair and the like the pants suit or whatever that he's like because I always just think of like Dewey Cox. I don't know why.
Me too.
Or like Step Brothers.
Me too. And it's so funny to like watch all these films, especially like Oscar nominated films from this era, like the early 2000s. It's like, why is Dewey Cox here? Like,
I'm like, what is this
I
going
get
on?
so confused. And I know we talk about this every time.
I love it though. It just tickles my brain in a way. I'm like,
I do too. It's like he can do anything. And I do buy it. Like he really does lend to these roles well. Like the lovable, like kind of like dim-witted man.
He's like, I love you, doll. I was in the war.
You look so beautiful.
You can make me an ugly cake. I don't care.
Yeah. You're perfect.
But it's kind of like too much.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like trying to be the ideal housewife.
Oh my God.
And not in the same ways can I relate to her because,
Yeah, we have rights.
we do have rights, but also like I'm not secretly having like strong like loving feelings toward my neighbor bestie.
Oh yeah, true.
Played by
I
Toni
love how they
Collette.
just slipped that in there. That's
Well, I was trying to explain that to my fiance because he was like, are all women secretly gay? And I was like, no, I don't think that's the point.
I don't think that's the point. But these characters, it's just, yeah, I don't know.
I think when you're like so repressed or when you're like hiding yourself so much,
Yeah.
when you have to tuck things away. I also was trying to explain, I think everyone's pansexual.
Right. I've heard your theory.
Yeah. Have I ever from a podcast?
I don't know if you have.
The Hours really proves it to me that everyone is pan, or at least most of us are pan.
You just don't know.
It's the right context.
Right.
Do you know?
When her neighbor bestie is there and is like, I might die.
Yeah. And
That's the
you're just
time.
in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. And it's the 50s.
Yeah.
You're so repressed.
I think if you like stand close to someone long enough, you might kiss.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't mean anything deeper, or it could, but not always.
I was reading like the kiss, like there's theories that it represents the beginning of the characters like unraveling, and also like maybe like realizing they want like more freedom, which I thought was interesting. I didn't really catch that the first time around, but I'm like, oh, maybe because there's a wild moment. Virginia Woolf kisses her sister, which I was like,
well, yeah, I didn't know if I should bring that up.
Yeah, same. But I'm like, if we're talking about it, like that was like kind of crazy to me. But I'm like, is she just that repressed? Because that's even further back in time in the timeline.
She's losing it.
And she's also like, yeah, she's really losing it. She has like, I don't know how many psychiatrists or whatever. She's
like
on suicide watch. There's a lot. She has a lot going on.
A lot of desperation with her as well. Like I feel like it's very complicated with Virginia Woolf's storyline.
Yeah, I agree. But then I think in that moment, like after that, she like runs to London. It's like a catalyst or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of want to watch it again and see if I have any other takeaways, because that was something I was like researching afterwards.
that makes complete sense. Like even with the Julianne Moore storyline when she kisses Toni Collette, it isn't like super Leslie vibes, like not full Chapel Roan.
Right.
Like the way I've always interpreted that kiss is like, especially in the 50s, that idea that you can't express like love for someone else or caring for someone else or
Oh, maybe people weren't like huggy, like.
Yeah, or this like what I felt in that moment in the way I interpreted a little bit of it. You can interpret it in a lot of ways. And I do think it's that like expression, like everything you said, but I also interpreted it a little bit like she's trying with that kiss to say everything she wants to say to her,
But she can't.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really rejected, you know, which was interesting. She was just kind of like, you know, all right, yeah, whatever. Like she, you know, like Toni Collette's character was kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, oh my God, get away from me.
No.
You freak, which is kind of how I honestly forgot how it went down. But I think the first time watching, I thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I can't imagine having to worry so much about something like that. And then like there's these traditional roles you have to fall into, especially in the 50s. Like people were acting crazy.
Totally.
And that whole housewife, like it's literally this movie. It just makes me think about trad wives, honestly. Julianne Moore's character. I'm like, because she is trying to bake that cake, trying to make it perfect, rebakes it. But, and it, you know, it's still not perfect, but it probably would have been fine. Dewey Cox doesn't care.
But she knows that that's not
her.
That's not what she wants.
I don't even think she wants her kids.
No, but that's what she's told she wants. And then it's sitting at the dinner table with Toni Collette's character, and Toni Collette is going on about how, you know, she's going to the doctor and she might not be able to have kids. And that's actually what she wants, or at least what she thinks she wants, what she's told she wants, what makes a woman.
That was an interesting line to me.
And there's a lot riding on it. So that kiss to me is more of like we both can't have what we want. We can't meet these expectations. It was like a whole entire conversation with that kiss.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
But it's nuanced.
Very.
Man. This film and what it says about like expectations for women, it's a lot.
When Toni Collette, when she said like, oh, I don't think, what did she says like, you're so lucky. Like, I don't even think you can begin to be a woman or something like that until you're a mother, which I thought is just so crazy. Like a radical idea, I feel like nowadays, but I feel like that is one of those things that's passed down like generationally. Like that's like an expectation that's always kind of been there.
I've heard that today. Like
really?
Today. Yep.
Literally today?
I've heard people being told that. No one's ever said that to me yet. Thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It makes you think though. Cause like, yeah, what if you can't have, like, you know how some people just can't? Does that make you less? I mean, I don't think it does, but it's just crazy to, you know, that it would, you know, letting that define you. I don't know. It's wild.
It is wild. What's I going to say? Oh yeah. Meryl Streep's character, Clarissa Vaughn, so she's setting up this whole, you know, like lavish party. She's truly like doing the most for her friend Ed Harris, who is like a poet who is dealing with AIDS, and he's kind of like a shut-in. He's on a lot of meds, and you know, he doesn't really want the party, but he does want the attention. But she's basically living Mrs. Dalloway.
Yeah.
Like she's buying the flowers and she's throwing the parties and she's the host.
She's trying to keep it all together.
She's trying to keep it all, and she's living for him.
Yeah.
Essentially, you know, like, or she's like, keep on living because I want you to live. And it's nothing of what he wants.
Yeah. I thought there was an interesting parallel too with Virginia Woolf and her husband. Like he's kind of, him and Clarissa are both kind of like, they get into like a similar kind of argument where it, you know, it's kind of like, oh, am I living for you or for me? You know, like if you feel like your life is over. I mean, if you have at the time, like in the context of Ed Harris's character, I feel like, you know, he probably feels like he doesn't have a whole lot of options. Like he's going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Virginia Woolf, I don't know, like it's mental illness, I guess, or just.
That was heartbreaking when they're on the like platform.
Yeah.
Because that her husband, it is that realization. It's like, I can't stop you if you want to go, you know? And that's why Clarissa, I think, has that breakdown in the kitchen with Jeff Daniels, is I think she realizes like in that moment, like, she is living for someone else, but she also can't like force him to live.
Yeah. This movie's very sad sometimes, like at parts. But
yeah.
But then it's interesting because like Virginia Woolf, like, because she, you know, she wrote the whole story, Mrs. Dalloway, to, you know, this is what the book is based, or, you know, the Hours is based on.
Yes.
So like what I think is interesting is like her process of writing and deciding to kill off a character and then being like, well, a character has to die so that we can value life more.
The poet must die.
Yeah.
That's what she concludes. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I think that's genius though, because it's true, you know, like, I don't know. We got to value life. That was one of my takeaways.
Yeah. And my main takeaway too is like ultimately we can't control others.
Yeah.
Because I really did empathize. Like I've even been in situations like where I felt like I'm like Clarissa or I'm Virginia Woolf's husband, you know, being like, please do this for me. And it's almost selfish, but not in a way. It's like we ultimately can't control others.
That's true.
But it's very interesting that we're seeing Virginia Woolf in 1923. Mm-hmm. She's writing Mrs. Dalloway at the time. And we're 1950s with the Julianne Moore character who's reading Mrs. Dalloway. And then in 2001, present day, Meryl Streep's character is Mrs. Dalloway, essentially.
Yep.
And just the way they intertwine.
It's fun how Ed Harris also, like his character, he calls her Mrs. Dalloway.
Yes.
It's a cute little nod. It's like, oh, okay.
It really is.
Yeah. But it makes you think too, like, you know, like books. Like I mean, I don't read a whole lot of books, but it makes me want to read more. But you know, like how people can have different takeaways and different experiences. Like, you know, just throughout generations, you could be reading the same book. It could still have an impact. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And art, I don't know. It just made me think. I'm like, is this like, is this movie or is this, you know, book like a ode to tortured artists to a degree?
A little bit. Not to go back to Taylor Swift, but the Tortured Poets Department.
Oh my God.
Is the Hours.
I just picture Taylor Swift, with like the nose.
Getting real into it. That's how she writes.
Oh my God.
What are some standout scenes for you?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is the one where Laura goes to the hotel.
That's my standout scene. That's the scene in this movie. Well, when Ed Harris jumps out of the window.
That was my second. That was what I was picturing. Yeah.
Well, let's just unpack it then. Those are the standout scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, Virginia Woolf killing herself.
Yeah.
She grabs those rocks and there's no going back.
But we know it's going to happen more. I feel like the other ones are a little more unexpected. Or like Ed Harris, you kind of know when he's lingering in that window frame. Like you're like on edge. But you're like, oh, I think I know what he's going to do. And then there's no chance because they're just like having a conversation.
But when he does it, the way I audibly gasp every time. Just like Meryl Streep. And it isn't inferred that Clarissa knows he's going to do it because she doesn't stop him.
Yeah, she does not like, stop, what are you doing? But he's also hyped up on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Also, how do you stop someone like that? I mean, physically, can you? And
she probably could, but is that the moral of the story? You know?
And should you? Well,
yeah. I mean, like, Virginia Woolf's husband could have ran after her and been like, get those rocks out your pocket. But that's what she wanted to do.
That's true.
You can't really, like, make someone live.
That's true. Yeah. But that's another thing, like choosing life or death, I guess, is another theme, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then it's interesting, you know, that Laura she chooses life. You think she's not going to. She almost doesn't. And like the scene where the water is coming into the room, I love that scene. Like just visually, it represents like everything that's like she's like drowning in a way, you know, but she just decides to leave her life and start anew. Which can we blame her?
No, I can't blame her. Honestly, if I was a 1950s housewife, I would be Laura Brown. Like, I know it for sure.
Yeah.
I'd kiss Toni Collette and I'd be like, man, time to kill myself. You know what I mean? Like, it would just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think when sometimes, I don't know if you've ever experienced this in your life where you do kiss someone and then feel like that was like a catalyst for change.
I don't know. Not really. Are you talking about who I think you're talking about?
No, I think I've just in my young life I don't know, it's just a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I don't know, kissing someone and then being like,
Do you run
"Ah,
off?
man." Nah, it's more of just like you're like that meme where they're like touching their head, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, enough about me. I've never
I love
had
it.
these ideations, but the Laura Brown storyline is just like visceral to me. It's like a kick to the stomach.
Yeah.
Because you know when she's taking her son to get dropped off to go play, you know, just like he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
That little boy's intuition is through the roof.
Right. No. Kids can sense things, I think.
And just the way that scene plays out with the Phillip Glass score. It's just crazy. Like, that's the scene that really sticks out with me is when the little boy like has that gut feeling that his mom is going to kill herself. And he's like, "Mom," like he's like crying.
Don't go. Yeah.
And he's like running down the street. Like he breaks free from the babysitter and is like trying to chase the car down the street.
It was kind of sad.
It's heartbreak. It's like devastating to me.
That's the only thing that's kind of sucks. It's like, oh, she left her kids behind. Or like, I guess she had another baby on the way.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if that's exactly what stopped her or if it was something she read in the book.
I wonder because when she goes to that hotel room to kill herself, she is reading Mrs. Dalloway.
Yeah.
But yeah, she like lays out her pills and Mrs. Dalloway. So, but I mean, she chooses life.
She does.
And at that end scene when she tells Meryl Streep, like she chose life. It is.
She's like, I don't regret abandoning my children and my family. I regret nothing.
Yeah. But the fact that she still like, she read his book, and she like, you know, she still cared.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What was your takeaway from that scene?
I think I just understand where she's coming from, you know, and why she might want to, like, feeling just so stuck and repressed, you know, and wanting a way out, you know.
And she found a way out, though. She didn't just kill herself. Like, she found a way out.
Yeah. I think that's maybe braver, you know, just.
I think so, too.
Facing the consequences, too, of your choices, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting. I don't know what the film's really trying to say when it comes to the Ed Harris character. Like, it's definitely like when you realize that that's Julianne Moore's son.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. He was abandoned. It makes sense. And like his idea with AIDS and like his addictions or not addictions, but like he's like hopped up on medications. And that's why he decides to kill himself. And same, you know, with Virginia Woolf, all of her, you know, like she's in like psychosis or something. Like,
yeah.
So it's like you don't fault them for killing themselves, but it's almost like, did it always have to be like that? Or just, I don't know what is it trying to say, because the main takeaway is choose life, but it's end capped with two people killing themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I don't know. Life is tough. And maybe it's just some people have different, you know, coping, like different, I don't know, I sound like a therapist, like different coping tools in their toolbox. I don't know. I don't exactly know why some people like feel like I don't know.
Because it's interesting that Clarissa, Meryl Streep's character, she keeps telling Ed Harris, she's like, you know, people can live with AIDS now.
Right.
Like, you know,
Things
you don't have to die.
Right. Yeah, because maybe it's just if you've given up. I don't know. I think at a certain point, maybe.
Or it's all a choice.
I don't know.
But not for Virginia Woolf necessarily. I don't know. She seemed like so tortured.
Yeah, she did. Plus, wasn't she gay?
Was she gay?
I don't know. I thought she was.
You know what? I don't know a lot
Her
about
husband
Virginia
was a
Woolf.
beard.
Well, and we don't need to unpack, but a quick Google search about Virginia Woolf being gay also leads us back to Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
And her inspiration being Virginia Woolf and taking a lot of inspiration from Virginia Woolf. Even speaking of the Tortured Poets Department, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? That's kind of a reference, at least title-wise,
Wolf.
to Virginia Woolf, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. There's a lot of parallels.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot of Reddit threads and things to go down.
All right.
But,
so we'll be going down this rabbit hole. Got it.
But that's for everyone to do on their spare time.
Mm-hmm. Right. You're like, I know.
But see, all I Googled was Virginia Woolf gay. I did not mention Taylor Swift. Anyway.
It just came up. Holy crap.
So,
wow.
So that's all I'll have to say on that. But maybe my theory that everyone's pansexual
This movie proves it.
still stands. Case closed. But yeah, I guess Virginia Woolf was gay.
Yeah.
Or had closeted queer relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to put a label on it?
Do they need to be? Yeah. Does it have to be so black and white?
I don't know. And if her husband was a beard, does that mean they didn't love each other?
No, they probably did. They seem to have love for each other.
You can love your beard, right?
Yeah. Sure. I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway.
Shout out to the beards.
Shout out to the beards. They're doing the most.
They really are.
Her beard is there for her, at least, like, in all sorts of ways. Like he sets up a whole printing press for her.
Yeah.
And he's genuinely concerned about her mental health. You know?
He really looks out for her.
He does. Yeah. He's like making sure she eats food.
Yeah. He's the one who's, being like, I want you to, oh my God, I'm thinking about the parallels. Okay. Clarissa Vaughn.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, let's talk beards.
Yeah, let's talk beards.
Isn't it interesting that, so Meryl Streep's character is a lesbian? Or, well, she's queer.
Yeah. Yeah, why do we need to label things?
Yeah, we don't. Okay. She's queer, but she's in a relationship with a woman played by Allison Janney.
I love this relationship. I ship them.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's a ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because Clarissa is not really invested in this relationship with Allison Janney.
I know. Character. She's more invested in like Ed Harris.
Yes. And because they had like a
priest.
Yeah, like in college.
Yeah.
But she just holds, I wouldn't say a candle, but she has so much love for him and has kind of devoted her life to him in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. But he's gay. Right?
It is very interesting. The two gays.
And then were they like each other's beards? But the love for the beards lives on. What?
Or is it your theory about pansexuality? Like they're both, say they're really more of the gay Kinsey scale.
Yeah.
But they found someone of the opposite gender that
to love.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And one or the other's not, wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah. I agree with you. But what was I going to say?
You're saying she's more invested in.
Oh, in
that relationship with him
than her own relationship. It's just interesting.
It is.
Because
yeah, like if that's your ex, don't you I don't know. Also, apparently she's had a lot of exes. It sounds like, because when she's planning this party, she has a whole table full of exes.
Yes.
Because Alex, why do I say Alex?
Allison Janney?
Yeah, Allison Janney is like, oh, are you going to sit me at that table? What are you trying to say?
I actually think that was funny. So offensive too.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, but Clarissa really is doing the most to have this party for Ed Harris's character.
And then no, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say this party never even happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Such is life.
That's what I was thinking. It was like she's trying so hard, almost at the detriment to her other relationships and her mental health, to like keep Ed Harris's character living. She's, you know, basically deserted her partner. She's, you know, has a weird relationship with her daughter. Like she kind of like puts everyone at arm's length because she's so invested. Or that's how I took it.
Oh, yeah. No, she does. She's very like, it's like an all-consuming thing. This party.
She's a Miss Dalloway, out herself.
Yeah.
But it's so funny to me every year when fall like pops up, when the summer ends and fall begins, when you smell like crisp air. It's funny on the internet how everyone's like, Meg Ryan fall, but then you start seeing pictures of Meryl Streep from The Hours as Clarissa.
Oh, yeah.
When she's at the flower shop.
I love that aesthetic, though.
I do too.
It's a vibe.
Can we talk about Meryl Streep's fall aesthetic in The Hours?
Yeah. She wears like a scarf, too.
So many layers. Those tinted sunglasses, so 2001.
She's rocking it.
In her boots. With the boot cut jeans.
And that trench.
J. Crew right now, like the Charlotte Olympia J. Crew, wishes they were Clarissa Vaughn. Like it really is a lot of the inspiration for what I see, like just in fall fashion.
You gotta be holding flowers too. Can't forget that.
Totally. Also, baby blue. I firmly am in the camp that baby blue is a fall color.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but the Gilmore Girls wear a lot of baby blue. That's a very fall, like, coded show.
Yes. Even, I don't know why it's fall coded to me, but when I think of baby blue, I think of Lorelai and Rory Gilmore, but I also think about Liv Tyler and Empire Records.
Yeah. That's a fuzzy sweater.
Yes.
I mean, her whole look does look very fall.
With the schoolgirl skirt and the boot, the Doc Martens.
Yeah. That's a fall fit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
But baby blue, I think it's a fall color. Huh. I stand by this.
I've never really thought about it. Though I do have a baby blue, like, sweatshirt, waffle sweater-y thing.
It's very cute.
I can only wear it in the fall. You know, when it gets a little chilly. It's too hot for summer. So I think you're onto something. I think I just associate fall with like typical like autumn colors, like yellow, orange, brown. That's it.
As a winter,
yellow, orange, and brown.
I know we're talking about a plum. As we're talking about such a serious film, and I'm like, let's get stupid. But as a winter, I do appreciate a baby blue for the fall because I don't look good in any fall colors. You're in autumn.
I know. I'm like, it's my time to shine.
You look good in all those warm tones, and I look ill. Like autumn, like, okay, I can do a forest green. I can do an olive green.
Yeah.
But oh my God, put me in a brown. Ugh.
Really?
Put me in an orange. Ew.
Oh, I can't picture you in orange. That's for sure.
Gross.
I don't think brown. I think a certain shade, maybe like a espresso kind of brown.
A cool toned brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Representation for my fellow winters, like the Liv Tyler, Rory, and Lorelai Gilmore's. We got baby blue.
Yeah.
I've got to put it into the fall color rotation for us winters.
I think you're right.
Some representation.
Just making me rethink the whole fall color palette there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could enlighten you about that. Let's talk about suicide again. Stick another rock in your pocket.
Oh my God. That's something you say to someone you really don't like.
I mean, it's such a serious part of the film, but there has to be some comedy in the fact that like she's like doing pebbles. And
yeah, I'm like, are these rocks really gonna hold you down?
I did kind of expect low-key her to just grab like a big boulder at the end and just stuff it in her pocket.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like it would have been funny to see like I mean, this is never mind. I like seeing her struggle.
Well, it's like comedy, how like it happens in threes. Like there was a part of me, probably because this film is so depressing and so serious.
We need some comedy. We see Dewey Cox up there. We're like expecting something funny. It doesn't come.
Yeah. But you did make a really fair point. I don't think those rocks could have weighed her down.
I don't think they were strong enough.
She really did probably need a bigger rock.
Yeah. Unless you just have really strong willpower and you just like, you know how some people can lay at the bottom of a pool for a long time?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that. You just, I don't know.
Well, back to choosing life, I think if you have enough willpower to drown yourself by placing pebbles in your pockets, not even boulders, you can will yourself to live.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of, I don't have that kind of will.
Just to be like, drowned.
Yeah. Like I don't think that's too much effort.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it should be that much effort.
Yeah. At least that Harris just jumped out the window.
That's so true. I feel like, okay, we are recording this right, like the day we're hearing the news about Liam Payne.
Did he kill himself?
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm so sorry.
Or allegedly.
So sorry. I'm just finding this out. Like you literally texted me before we started recording.
Yeah. So I don't want to like be like, because that Ed Harris scene is very serious, but also there's some levity and not levity, but
there's some levity.
Someone flinging falling out a window. But like,
oh god.
It's
because we watched American Psycho recently. That things are just to me. I think that's part of it. Is like the satire. I'm like looking at everything through a satirical lens now, and I'm like, there's got to be some slapstick in here somewhere.
Truly, or it's like, I think when a movie is so serious, and so I think if you are in the right mindset, it's so depressing. It could be comedy.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe not today.
Maybe not today.
But every time I think about like a jumping out of the window scene, why do I think about that episode of The Nanny with Richard Kind?
Oh, I love that episode where she talks him down.
Yeah.
And he's like, she like gets up on the ledge. She's doing the most. Fran Fine's doing the most.
She really is. Always back to The Nanny. And Richard Kind? Wait, is Richard Kind now the president of SAG?
Is he?
Is he?
I don't know.
Because, you know, what a weird world. Because The Nanny.
Yeah.
Did I just make that up in my head? Did I dream that?
That he's the president?
Yeah. Is Richard Kind the president of SAG?
What else?
Also, baking is hard. So I understand.
Baking is hard.
I really understand when Julianne Moore is like, kind of like, what's wrong with me? I can't bake a cake. Because
they give her a hard time too.
They do. And every time I try to bake anything, it doesn't turn out the way I want. And I completely relate to Laura Brown in this, because baking a cake is hard, okay? And don't shame me for it.
Yeah, I think it's wrong to shame. It's weird. Because even her friend is like, what? You can't bake a cake? It's so easy. Anyone can bake a cake.
That's what everyone says.
I hate when people say that.
But it's not like, so like cooking is an expression, it's creative. Yes. But baking is a science. And no one tells you that.
You're right. Like if you do the wrong ratio of like the baking soda or something,
you can fuck things up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But people try to make things look really easy. And I think that's really harmful.
That's why I just get box mix. Truly. You know, I'm just saying that's easier to find. It's all pre-measured.
Bada boom, bada bang.
Yeah. Just add the eggs or the water. And then add a flourish to it if you want. If you want to add a little extra. But I don't know.
But when Laura Brown tries to ice the cake and that also fails.
But icing is so difficult. Like I've struggled with that too. Like making a cake look pretty.
That's why I've always done the nod to like Harry Potter.
I was going to say, I always loved when you gave me the Harry Potter cake.
I'm like, this I can do. Making a bad cake? Sign me up.
I love it. I think a cake made, bad, like, you know, like whatever is maybe even sweeter. Because it's the thought, you know, it's going to taste good. Who cares what it looks like?
A human. You did for my birthday this year make me a brat cake.
I did.
And it was very, very cute.
I'm glad you liked it. I was so worried about the lettering. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? It's simple. It just has to say this. It just has to be black letters.
Well, you did a brat themed cake. So trying too hard is not very brat.
No.
So I really appreciated it.
I will tell you, I did use a box.
That is okay.
But I zhuzhed it. I had a coconut and lime.
I know.
Zest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
I'm like somewhere in the middle, I think will be good.
And I don't I mean, we're in 2024.
Yeah.
We can use a box mix.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm like, oh
Come
no,
on
cake
now.
from scratch. I don't know.
You're not like Nara Smith or like Ballerina Farm. You don't have to do that.
Well, see, that's what this movie made me think too. I'm like, I don't get why people resonate with this life. You know what I mean? Like,
but no one does. Like Toni Collette's character suffering,
No, but-
Laura Brown suffering.
I mean, like in real life though.
Oh.
Like in the you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand that trend. I know we've talked about it a lot, but
I don't get that either.
it just made me think of that because it's like,
but behind the scenes,
yeah,
things could be totally different.
that's true.
They could be kissing other women. We don't know, allegedly.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. All these trad wives.
Yeah. Like the trad wives could be, you know, also
But it's a
repressed.
choice though, too.
It is
Which
their
is
choice.
interesting. But then maybe I should respect that. I don't know.
It is, in all seriousness, I think it is beautiful that we've come to a time and place where it is our choice.
Yeah.
And if you want to be, you know, the perfect like 1950s housewife, you can. It's like your choice.
Yeah. No one's stopping you.
No, and you know, more power to you because you can choose
Yeah.
and choose life.
Choose life.
Oh.
Final thought.
Another thought I had was the scene where Clarissa gets the flowers, arguably the most iconic scene in the film, oddly enough. Or at least the one that's like stood the test of time on the internet, oddly enough, is the one where Meryl Streep's just like with the bouquet of flowers talking on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Talking on the phone is really sexy.
Yeah?
I think there's nothing sexier than a woman on the go.
Oh, yeah.
Talking on the phone, getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I aspire to be.
Arms
full.
Arms so full, so busy.
No, don't get the door for me. I got it.
Chatting it up on a phone. Like holding it to your ear.
Because you don't have time.
There's nothing sexier than talking on the phone. That's all I gotta say. Any thoughts before we wrap it up on the Oscars this year? Or Nicole Kidman getting the Academy Award
Oh
for
my
Best
God, I
Actress.
thought you meant this year.
No,
I'm like,
we don't know
this
yet.
year? Oh, I don't know. That's a tough question. But the Oscars, just thoughts on the Oscars and Nicole Kidman.
Well, Nicole Kidman did win by a nose Best Actress.
Yes.
Which I love because I love Nikki Kids. But for me, Julianne Moore is my gal. Like,
wait a
this
minute.
performance is amazing.
We've talked about this before. Isn't that a thing? Like, who is the like best actress versus like supporting? Because wasn't Julianne Moore supporting?
Yes. This is what's
This
really
doesn't make sense to me.
Really fucked. Well, you know, Harvey Weinstein was pulling really hard for Nicole Kidman to get an Oscar.
Yeah.
So it was very strategic.
And then what about but Meryl Streep wasn't nominated?
No. And it's crazy because looking back, you know, Meryl Streep is one of the most nominated women or people of all time to be nominated for Academy Awards. Didn't really happen until the past like 15 years.
That is crazy. Also, the way she loses it, like that scene in the kitchen when Clarissa breaks down in the kitchen. So good. You know what I mean? Like,
it's Meryl Streep.
like why isn't she nominated? Also, these ladies share pretty much equal screen time, don't they? Like,
well,
but then it's weird because you don't want to pit them against each other, I guess. So maybe it's better to give them their own category. I don't know.
And it's crazy. It's totally just strategic on Miramax's part because Nicole Kidman, out of the 3 women, she has the least amount of screen time.
That's crazy.
But Julianne
The impact,
Moore,
though.
it is the impact and the nose.
The nose. The impact of the nose.
Maybe Denzel was on to say, he was by a nose, and it was really pointed.
Literally. He's like, the nose was pointed.
The nose. Julianne Moore has a double nomination for supporting actress this year. Far From Heaven and The Hours. Which Julianne Moore, I can understand because you don't want to pit the women against each other. But her performance as Laura Brown moves me the most. I think she does the best work in The Hours. I haven't seen Far From Heaven, but it cements in my brain. I'm like, I have to watch Far From Heaven now, because Julianne Moore, I haven't seen a lot of her work, and I haven't watched a lot of Todd Haynes films. But that's something I'm working on, because every Todd Haynes film I've seen, I've been blown away by.
Yeah.
And I know their work together is incredible. Just watching May December, I can tell
I
they
love
have
May
a good
December.
Same. Underrated.
She kills it. But this is so different because her character is such an emotional. She's playing such an emotional person. I don't know, but she doesn't. There's so much going on behind her eyes, because she can't express it, that it almost takes more effort to do these micro expressions, to really, I don't know. She's so convincing. You can read her mind on screen.
I don't think I've been captivated by a performance like I have with Julianne Moore's in The Hours. I could literally, our hour is wrapped up, but I could talk an hour more about Julianne Moore's performance alone.
An hour more, Emma.
Moore, yes.
The podcast never ends.
Yes.
It's an hour more.
Yeah.
On Julianne Moore. That's not a bad idea.
More and more. We'll watch all Julianne Moore's films.
Yes. I love this.
Yes. But anything else on the Oscars?
Well, I think, it deserved all the nominations. And Phillip Glass, he won.
Hell yeah.
So, right? Didn't he win?
He won in my heart. I don't remember. Or was he just
nominated? Hold on. Am I looking at the wrong list? I know Anne Roth was also nominated.
The set design in The Hours is also immaculate.
Yes. The whole movie is just so good. It's perfect. I have no notes for this movie, really. But yeah, I think it deserved all the nominations. Yeah.
And thank
the editor, Peter Boyle. Wait, Peter Boyle. That's not the guy in
Everyone
Loves Raymond. That can't be the same guy. I guess it's not that unique of a name. That would be wild, though. If it was
oh my God,
Frank
Barone. Just
snipping. Shout out to him. He's in the studio.
I love this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Hours. Even if you don't like films like this, like me, watch it.
Yeah, because it's not really a period piece necessarily.
Take it for a spin.
Yeah.
Now, I want my wish, though, because you've been really into edits. Editing songs with movie clips.
Yes.
Do a Chapel Roan. I think
good luck, babe, to this. Oh my God. I gotta write that down.
But I think on that note, just listen to some Chapel Roan while you watch The Hours.
Perfect.
Yeah. But thank you for spending an hour with us on The Hours. Yes. And tune into our next podcast, an hour more with Julianne Moore. But we'll see you next time. Bye. Late to the Party is hosted by Nikki Jensen and Bri Piccone. Our podcast is produced by Grace Dunbar and edited by Bri.
That's me. Thanks for listening. Make sure to rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next week. Bye.